Hey everybody, Kevin Elliott here with Home Dabbler. Today I'm out here with my beautiful blueberry bushes and I'd like to teach you a few things, some basics about fertilizer. There's lots of different kinds of fertilizers out there, specialized for different kinds of plants, and it can get really confusing when you go to the store and you're trying to find the right one for what you need. So I want to give you some very basic 101 about fertilizer. So the first thing you need to know is that there are two broad categories of fertilizers. There are quick release fertilizers and there are slow release fertilizers. A really good way to know, first of all, it'll say it on the label, but also your shake and feed, the little boxes you buy like this that are sold as little granules or liquid fertilizer, those are quick release fertilizers. Now what that means is that the plant can take that fertilizer, take the nutrients up really fast. It's readily available to the plant. So these are very good for house plants. These are good for starting young vegetable plants. If you're going to especially do them in a pot, if you have a small garden, it's okay to use quick release fertilizers because you want to grow them really quick. You want to get things moving really fast. The only downside to quick release fertilizers is that they are spent just as quickly as they go up. So the plant will take all those nutrients in, use them really fast, and then they're gone. So you have to continually fertilize much more often. Again, this is okay if you're doing, say, houseplants or a very small container garden, something on your porch. That's all right because you can just walk by and fertilize pretty regularly. That said, if your garden gets up much bigger, gets any size at all, you're going to wear yourself out going out every week or so and having to fertilize the entire thing. So that's why you use slow release fertilizers, like come in this bag. You'll get big bags of slow release fertilizer. So like my blueberries here, I use slow release fertilizer on them and I only have to fertilize them twice a year. So it slowly goes into the soil and the plants take it up as they need it. This is your pretty standard gardening type fertilizer. So quick release and slow release. Now, the next thing that you need to know about all fertilizers is that they are made up of two kinds of nutrients. The first kind of nutrients are called macronutrients, and there are only three. There are three macronutrients. You can find these on, like this bag of fertilizer has a little card right here that has all the nutrients in them. Sometimes you'll see it on the bag and there will be three big numbers. It'll say like 10, 10, 10 or 28, 3 or something like that. They're always three numbers just like this, separated by dashes. And those three numbers represent the three macronutrients that all plants need. They represent nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, NPK. Sometimes you'll even see the letters on the bag, NPK, and they're in different numbers. And what that means is, in this bag, so this is a bag of 10, 10, 10. A balanced fertilizer has nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, each at 10% of the mix. So where I live in North Florida, and a 10, 10, 10 is a pretty good standard garden fertilizer. It has all those nutrients in balance. However, if you know what each of those nutrients do, what each of those macronutrients are for, what part of the plant they feed, you can actually customize your fertilizing regimen. So the thing to know is that nitrogen, the N, the first number, is anything green in the plant. So this is your leaves, your stems. It helps those new shoots come out really fast. That's why a lot of times you'll see grass fertilizers are very high in nitrogen. They'll be like 28, 8, 3 or something like that because your grass leaves are only green. And so you just want to hit them really hard with nitrogen. So anything green, those dark green leaves, is mostly nitrogen. The problem is if you get a fertilizer that has too much nitrogen, for say a blueberry bush, you're going to get tons of growth, no doubt. I mean, it's going to turn green, you're going to get lots of explosive growth, you're just never going to get a blueberry. And that's where the other macronutrients come in. So nitrogen, think green, that's anything green on the plant. Phosphorus, that is your flowers and your berries. So these little beautiful blueberries are not quite ready yet. They'll be ready in about another month or so. But you'll see this beautiful fruit all over my blueberry bush here. That's the phosphorus. They make the flowers come onto the plant and they make fruit. They push that fruit out. So it's really good to have that in balance as well. The third one is potassium, K. potassium. And potassium is super important for your root system. It will help the root system grow big and strong. It also plays a key role in photosynthesis. So it helps your plant absorb sunlight and turn it into sugars that it can use to then grow. So that's an oversimplification really of how the science in a plant works, but it does tell you what each of those macronutrients do. Nitrogen, green, phosphorus, flowers and fruit, potassium, photosynthesis, and your root system. Now, if you have your soil tested at your local extension service, and you should, everyone should, you will get the mix that is in your soil. And then you will know, do I need a little bit more nitrogen? Do I need a little bit less potassium in my soil? So those are the 3 macronutrients that you will see in every fertilizer. Something else to know is that every plant requires a certain mix of micronutrients. There's about 24 of them. And you will also see them on your fertilizer card or on the back of your bag of slow-release fertilizer. It will have all of those little micronutrients. And the plants need those in just tiny little bits, micronutrients, but they all take them in a little bit differently. And this is where the specialized fertilizers really shine. So for instance, you can go into your store and if you have, say I'm in the South, I have azaleas, camellias are really popular down here, gardenias. They like a lot of acid. They like a certain mix of micronutrients. So you can go in there and on the shelf you will see a fertilizer made just for azaleas, gardenias, and camellias. And so you can buy that bag, throw them on there right out of the bag, and you know you have the right mix for those plants. Also in Florida, we have citrus fertilizer made just for citrus and avocados and that kind of thing. So you can buy the specialized micronutrients that you need for your particular plants. So just next time you go into your farm and garden or go into one of your big box stores, take a little time and walk down the fertilizer aisle, and it might surprise you how many different ones there are. The scientists have this figured out. Don't try and overthink it. What you really need to know is what the macronutrients mean, what they do, and then you can match your fertilizer to the kinds of plants you're growing. If it's a small garden, house plants, quick release fertilizers, they're awesome. You're just going to have to use them more often. If you have a bigger garden or you have these perennial like bushes or trees that you don't want to be out here festering with all the time, you can use a slow release fertilizer and just throw it on a couple times a year and you're done. So those are the basics of fertilizer. I hope this really helps. Please message me through the Facebook page if you have any particular questions about your yard, your plants, or your fertilizers. Thanks.